MMAOddsBreaker, welcome back. Today we have actually first time I've actually get to speak with her, Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie. I've got right when I left MMA Junkie Radio, they had you on like the next week, and I had just stopped commentating there, so I missed the whole interview with you. And you're actually one of the first female fighters I really wanted to interview. That got started, so I'm kind of glad I finally got you. You know, it took a while, but you actually fight this weekend. You fight in 4 days. Today's the first. You fight on the fifth. And you're still doing interviews?
Yeah, it's crazy. This is actually, I haven't really done many interviews for this camp. I mean, it's a real short camp, but today I just got provided with interviews, which is fine. Part of the game.
Yeah, you would assume that with Invicta getting moved on to Fight Pass with the UFC, that there'd be a huge amount of interview requests, especially since Top 20, they're trying to push the women. Obviously, Invicta's an all-women's card. Most of the people that are on Top 20, most of the women on Top 20, came from Invicta to begin with. You know, Shannon had to let them out of their contracts to go in the house. You would think there'd be a lot more demand of your time for interviews because there's been a lot of viewers watching the fights. But you're saying you really haven't had to do that many? Is it just because the camp was so short, or is that kind of how it's been? Okay.
I think so. I did quite a few for the my last fight, and I think that it was just because it was so back to back from Invicta 9 that and the holidays and everything, I just don't think they panned out the same way.
How was the holidays for you? Thanksgiving was just last week Thursday. There's I'm sure you had to help prepare and get things ready and do all that, but not on your diet, so you couldn't touch any of it?
Well, I helped prepare the turkey, and I made it with grass-fed butter and like fresh herbs and things like that. And then I had like some sweet potato and some vegetables, so it wasn't bad, but I definitely missed out on the stuffing and the cranberry sauce and the pumpkin pie. So.
Not to mention all the wine and everything else that goes along with part of being a big Thanksgiving dinner. So it's rough. It's a rough time for athletes. Obviously, I was a wrestler, my total career, so I never had Thanksgiving or Christmas. We just didn't get those dinners because that's when wrestling season is. And now a lot of fighters this time of the year are missing out on. You'll miss Thanksgiving, and some guys are fighting. The first of the year in January, they're missing Thanksgiving and Christmas because they're not fighting until January. How tough is it when you have a family that is going to eat, and they're very supportive? Your family, you've been very vocal about how supportive your family is of you training and competing, but you still have to have holidays with them. So how difficult is it for you to not grab some stuffing and grab a little extra cranberry sauce? Like, how is it a difficult task for you to stay away from the food?
I don't think the food is the hard part. I think that what the hard part for me was that it's a time to spend with your family, and I'm starting to cut weight, so I have to go for these long runs, and then I have to go hit the bags, and then I have to hit this. So I'm just leaving my family that has come here from El Paso and from Vegas to do these things, and I'd rather be spending time with them.
And you've got I've seen a couple of, 5 years ago it'd be called stalking. But now it's just I just follow you on all of your internet, all your social networking, and I've seen some video and some photos of you. It looked like you were hitting a heavy bag in your garage.
Yeah.
Did you put that in there so that you could be home and not have to have a 20-minute drive over to the gym, or so you could train and go immediately back in and spend time with your family? Is that why the garage is kind of set up?
Yeah, it's nice because the little one can stay inside, and we can keep the door popped open and check in on her between rounds and not have to worry about her getting in the way of the other fighters. So, yeah, it's nice to have.
How old is your little one right now?
She's 3.5.
Okay, not at the gym yet. Not you don't have her come to the gym all the time and like sitting in the corners. And is she at that age where she's okay? Well, mommy's out there punching, so I'm gonna go out there too. Is she at that stage?
She comes with me to the gym every now and then. And she's actually pretty good. And everybody there at the gym loves her. They'll play with her and she's occupied. So, yeah, she comes in every now and then. Just sometimes I feel like when I take her, especially when I'm getting closer towards the end, if I don't have somebody there helping me watch her, more of a distraction because I'm just worried about what she's doing and I can't get in the zone.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I had to, and I know a lot of fighters have the same issue with their kids that male and female doesn't make a difference. They're always
Yeah.
trying to keep an eye on not getting hit in the head and just trying to keep an eye over their kid and like what's happening. And in the middle of it, it's like you just can't get focused. So it's
Yeah.
actually pretty smart, at this stage. You thought about cutting weight. How much weight do you have to cut? Is it going to be a hard cut?
Probably.
Probably going to be a hard cut. Okay. Is it one of those things that are you like me where you waited till the last week? You just wait till last week to cut it all off, or are you one of those that starts way early, tries to get the weight down slowly?
I like to get the weight down slowly, but like I said, this camp was a short camp, and sometimes, your body just holds on to weight for longer than you expect it to, and hopefully all the cardio that I've been putting in is gonna start to show this week.
How do you recover after you make weight? I'm always interested to see how fighters act. It's like I have a particular routine that I do when I would make weight. I had a particular meal that I would eat, drinks I would have, IV bags that I would take in. Like I had all protocol that I would set up. But everyone's a little bit different. What do you do?
I don't like that. I'm not too good at like protocols because I'm just not that organized.
Okay.
But I don't do IVs. I just really what works for me is coconut water, and I do Pedialyte, and I just try to rehydrate all my liquids first, and then just kind of slowly just getting back my food in and trying to eat clean, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just like, give me that burger.
Yeah.
But so my last one, like, we were in Kansas City, we went to this barbecue spot, and I had some, like, sweet potato and, like, pork and steak, and so.
It is difficult when you're traveling, and I know some people, like, from a mental standpoint, they don't feel mentally good unless they have the food. Like Sean Shirk used to talk about, he'd bring the Foreman grill with him, he'd bring his chicken breast with him, he'd bring his pasta with him and cook in his hotel room. No matter where he was fighting, that's what he would do. But mentally, that made him feel like he completed his task and got all the way through it. Guys that spend a lot of time with Mike Dolce, Johnny Hendricks right now is spending a lot of time with Mike Dolce. He will have a specific meal right after that Mike makes. He has a specific meal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the next day before the fight. And that's mentally, that also helps him as well as physically. I have noticed so that I was more along the lines of the guys like my mental, I cut the weight. My treat now is I get to have a piece of cheesecake. I get to have, so I would break and have like some stuff that nutritionists were like, that's a big no-no. You can't do that. But mentally it made me feel so much better because I sacrificed for 8 weeks. Now let me have that 1 minute before the fight goes. I'm gonna have this extra thing. Do you do that same thing too? We have that. It's just a hamburger. Like it's like I want it right now because I've spent the time.
Yeah, I'm not strict about that stuff. If I want a hamburger, if I want a cheesecake, I'm gonna get it. And like you said, it's that you sacrifice so much, and now's the time for you to kind of like unbuckle your pants, be happy, and just let all the work that you put into the camp show for itself.
Is it harder to cut weight now after the baby than it was before the baby?
Yeah, it is.
Have you thought about going up in weight class?
I have, and just right now at the moment, I feel like really happy at 105, especially with being the belt holder for Invicta, and
a dominant belt holder, not just a belt holder. You're a dominant belt holder for Invicta. Yeah. So it's like it's tough to go, hey, look, I'm crushing everybody at this weight class. Let me keep suffering, as opposed to going because the next weight class up is getting a little bit more worldwide fame, and you're one of those girls. If you're in the right weight class, you get worldwide fame. Like for a long time, guy fighters at 125 pounds, 135 pounds, 145 pounds, no one cared. But if you're a 55 pounder, a 70 pounder, 85 pounder, everybody wanted to beat you. Everybody wanted to be a part of it because that was the weight classes the world was paying attention to.
Yeah.
Is part of that process of thinking about going up in weight classes? Is part of it going, I could really make a good run. I can make a lot more money. I can make a lot more fame by being up, just by going up a couple of pounds. Is part of that in the process?
Yeah, but I also feel like I have to be patient. For me, and like kind of like what you were talking about as far as like the notoriety and whose eyes are on you at that time. I want to be 100% sure that I can beat all those girls at 115, if I decide to make that jump. And so I'm still continuing to improve my skill set, and I guess we'll just see what the future holds for me when we get there, I guess.
In your opinion, is your opponent Herica? Is she the number one contender in Invicta for your spot right now, or do you think there's somebody in the weight class in Invicta that's the number one contender that just couldn't fight right now?
Well, the girl that actually paired us with the fight in November was a girl probably closer contender, but I'm not sure if she didn't want to take the fight or if she had another fight lined up in Japan. Either way, I'm gonna end up fighting all these girls. They're all hunting me down, so I'll just take them as they come.
It's difficult right now too at your weight class because there's a lot of women that are coming over from Japan that we don't know much about. You don't have much tape on, and you can't see very many videos on them, but they are really, really, really good. And so you're kind of getting people thrown at you. You're not really sure who they are. Are you finding it difficult sometimes on some of your opponents that just to find any kind of tape and even prepare for them?
Well, I feel like whatever tape we find, it's pretty easy to find one or two habits that they have that just is always going to be reoccurring in any of their fight styles. And so as long as I'm able to pick one or two of those habits, I think I can kind of get my head wrapped around what I want to do as far as my game time goes.
Last question before I let you out of here, Michelle. I know you got a busy day. What's the one thing that you do every day with your daughter that's not typical that most parents would be like, oh, that's a good idea. I should try and do that too?
Well, I don't know if it's not typical, but every night before she goes to sleep, I sing her to bed, and I tell her to dream big, because when she wakes up the next morning, she's gonna make those dreams reality, and I make sure she knows that.
That actually is not typical because my parents never did that with me, and it is something that most parents should do. You read your kids before you put them down to bed and give them a plan for the next day. Give them something to think about, while they're sleeping. That's actually a really good idea, and hopefully some of the parents that listen to the interview later on this week will actually pay attention to it. I like it. That was actually, you gave me some good advice, Michelle. That's actually a good one for me to use on my two smaller ones. So yeah, I like it.
How old are yours?
My two little ones are 4 and 6, and then of course my daughter is 12, and my eldest son is 21. So we have different conversations. My eldest son Frankie and I, we have man conversations. I'm still his dad, but I'm no longer a father to him. He's got his own mindset, his own game plan. So when I give him advice, it's like I'm not telling him as a father anymore. I'm telling him as like, hey, I've already been through this. This is what he's having a little issue right now with his girlfriend. So I'm kind of trying to help him through it. Like make his own mind up, or whatever. I'm like, I'm only telling you these things because I've lived it. I've already gone through it. So it's a different kind of conversation. But the two little ones, it's like, what are we doing today? We're going to go, we're going to break boards. They both just started Taekwondo. And so, yeah, they're doing really well at it, but they're also great baseball players. So you have to give them the choice. Like, what do you want to do today? Want to go play catch? Okay, let's go play catch. Okay, what do you want to do today? I want to kick pillows. So we take the pillows and practice front kicks and roundhouses just so they can kind of get it down. And then that's my day. Like that's the day with them pretty much every day. So.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna tell them to dream big when they go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter, fighting is so normal to her that like we were at the neighbor's house the other day playing in one of those jumping castles, and she was telling one of the other kids, let's play boxing. And I was like, no.
It is so tough. Like the one thing I like about the Taekwondo school my kids go to is you don't do this on your friends. You don't play this, you only do it here in school, and you only do it with your parents, on your parents when you're training. You don't do it any other time. And it was like, I was like, that's kind of dumb. Like, of course, you're not supposed to do it any other time. And then same thing happened. My youngest one, he's like, hey, let's go play karate. I'm like, no, you're not. You and your friend are not going to the backyard to go play karate. It's not what's going to happen. No.
Yeah, and my husband's like big time boxer, so he's like, you don't play boxing, Dave. Boxing's not to play.
Nice, good. I like his attitude. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a safe trip. Have fun this weekend. For ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch this fight, obviously you can watch it on Fight Pass. UFC Fight Pass will be on December 5th. Michelle Waterson, the Karate Hottie, thanks. It's a pleasure to finally get you in an interview. And I hope you have a great time this weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.